Welcome to Mortgage Markets and More. I am your host, Peter D'Angelo. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, got a little bit of R&R before we propelled into the new year. I am super thrilled to be here and continue with this podcast throughout 2024. Today's episode is one of these more episodes. They will be sprinkled in throughout the year on Wednesdays, and we will be exploring things outside of exclusively mortgages and real estate, things that I think would be beneficial to my listeners, different ideas about leadership, AI, technology, music, particular music artists. And today, we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. We've got a new year, a new me. Now, what are we going to do with that? How are we going to make the new me? Because it doesn't just start at the stroke of midnight when the new year begins, but it's through our effort every day that we get that new me. So with that in mind and heart, I wanted to share some ideas that I found helpful. If you are interested in exploring this anymore or would like to engage, feel free to comment, like, subscribe. In addition to that, a lot of what I'm going to be sharing is based on an article that I published in LinkedIn about New Year's and resolutions. So without further ado, let's start off with what does it mean for a New Year's resolution? Well, we're going to be setting aside goals for ourselves as we continue forward through the year. So how are we going to set those goals? For those who aren't aware, there's the SMART approach, which is to make sure that your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, meaning that you have a timeline for this. This is going to help because throughout the year, you will be able to know when you're on target, when you're off target, and how to get yourself back on track. It's an important idea to really take hold as you're looking forward to the new year and all the new things you're going to do and everything you're going to accomplish, to know that it's a tango, it's a dance. You're going to take a couple steps forward and then a step or two back. But the idea is to continue focusing on the progress forward. Having SMART goals will certainly help you with that. Here's some statistics to help you feel better as you go throughout the new year. Only about 40 to 50% of people normally establish a New Year's resolution. Of those 40 to 50% of people, about 10% of them wind up saying at the end of the year that, yes, I achieved my New Year's resolution. I stayed committed to my goals. So the majority, 90% of the people who do decide, wind up falling off. Why do they fall off? Well, a lot of times people get disheartened. I know I have felt disheartened in the past when I'm a month in and I'm already falling short on my New Year's resolutions. A very helpful component to this is to practice some forgiveness for yourself. Now, that's dangerous. Don't go overboard. Don't be too liberal with your forgiveness, but you do need to give yourself a little bit of leeway. New habits take time, and specifically around 66 days is the proven amount of time it takes to establish and make sure that the new habit has taken hold. So there's going to be some days that you fall back a little bit or you miss the mark, and that's going to be okay. As long as you wake up every morning with the same excitement and enthusiasm that you had going into 2024 or any new year, you will have the motivation. You'll be inspired to do what it is you set out to do at the beginning of the year. Health and wellness resolutions are very common. I know I have them myself, but they are normally the first ones to fall off because people think, okay, well, I've got to go to the gym every day. And then it takes one day you don't go to the gym and you feel like it all blew up. I'm speaking from personal experience here too. It's okay to miss when you miss, as long as you go back the next day, when you have the next opportunity. Also, it's not just about going to the gym. Bear in mind that having a balanced life and health and wellness does not necessarily mean you got to go to the gym, you got to lift weights or run on a treadmill or sit on a bike and pedal it out. It could be any number of different things where you just make sure you could be as simple as opening yourself up to the opportunity to do active things, active lifestyle things like hiking, going for a walk. Every little bit helps, especially if your idea is to lead a more balanced, healthy lifestyle. So don't exclusively think of health and wellness goals as needing to be gym-based and focused. It's really good to focus on things that you enjoy or pretend. Trick yourself into thinking, oh, I'm going to have a lot of fun running a mile every morning or something along those lines. And your frame of mind, your perspective will start to actually shape your own success in achieving those goals and sticking to those habits. Financial resolutions are where it gets a little tricky because life can sometimes throw curveballs our way. But exceptions should not be made the rule. If you have financial goals, it could be to save up for a down payment on a home or save up for a renovation on your home. Or on the total other end of the spectrum, just a future savings that you want to have a safety net established for. Go for it and make sure that it's things that you can budget regularly. Some good rules of thumb are to look at it from paycheck to paycheck and a percentage of your paycheck that you will put into savings and you will not touch. And then as life comes up, exercise good judgment. When do you need to tap in, if it's absolutely necessary, to tap into that savings for any life needs that may occur? Your personal development resolutions, if you happen to have any of those, these are centered along the concepts of self-improvement, faith, anything along those lines where you feel as though you want to improve individually outside of your profession. Those are the types of things that opportunity is in front of you at all times. It could be as simple as waking up in the morning and maybe it's a meditation that you'll do or prayer or whatever it may be, but just taking some time every day to focus on you in some capacity, whether it's when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, and the first thing you do is just spend 30 seconds sitting there or standing there, looking at yourself in the mirror and say, this is me. Give yourself some positive affirmation, or think about what you'd like to put out there for your day ahead. You'll start to align yourself and your daily routines and your daily tasks with what you want and desire out of your day. Now, this does not guarantee you're going to get it, but it will give you a much higher probability and likelihood of these things actually occurring and manifesting for you in your day. Most people are always talking about health, wellness, financial goals, personal development, but relationships are something to also consider as we go into the new year. Relationships are very important. For me, my business is very much strictly, I would say, number one is relationship focused. That's the number one thing for me in my life, professionally and personally. So give some thought to your relationships. Do you have any relationships that maybe you could pitch in a little bit more effort? Are you looking to repair some fences with family or friends? These are things to consider now, and decide on some actionable steps that you can do. Remember the time component, having certain milestones where, I'll set aside time each week or twice a month to just call people, call family, call friends, check in, things like that. These can all really be beneficial as we look to create an improved life into the new year. Technology is something that can be leveraged here in a very positive way, and it can also be something that gets in the way of our goals. It's really good to make sure on a regular basis that you have some detox time from technology, social media. And I know it sounds funny. We just talked about relationships, but how I correspond with my relationships is through social media. Absolutely. But you may miss some of the relationships clear and present right in front of you because you are engaged in social media and a digital platform. And you may be neglecting a relationship that's right there in your own home or with the coworkers at your office or at family and friend gatherings because you're looking at your phone. So it's cool to consider, how does technology play a role? And, obviously on the positive side of things, there's a tremendous amount of technology, apps, wearables, things like that can help you with the tracking component of your other physical goals for the new year and resolutions. So it's really just about trying to find a good balance with that. When it comes to looking at tracking progress over time, I just mentioned the wearables, the apps, different things like that can be helpful. There's also a tracking element so that you don't act punitively toward yourself and you start to get into a negative mindset where I fell short, it's over. I always like to say, keep like a 20 to 25% margin of error or margin for lack of success. I'll call it that. We have to get comfortable with failure, especially as we try new things in a new year. And that's okay to fail as long as you're failing forward, as long as you're learning something from when you failed. And this is where the tracking really comes in. So with great power comes great responsibility. Track your progress in a way that's meaningful for you, in a way that, no matter what your resolution is, in a way that is measurable. That's the M part of SMART. And use that as a reason to A, celebrate the things that you are doing correctly and where you're going. B, to know what were the circumstances around when you fell off the wagon. When did you miss your mark? And keep in mind what those effects and environmental components may have been. And that will help you to avoid those issues in the future. And C, and most importantly, is continue to look forward and adjust as you're doing your tracking. So you may find that, this was a monthly goal that I set for myself. Isn't realistic. I need more time, or I need to lower my expectation for myself here, because if you lower your expectation for yourself, it sounds counterintuitive, but follow me on this. If you lower the expectation for yourself just a little bit and you consistently hit it, you will have a much higher likelihood of now increasing what that goal is moving forward. So even though it sounds like a concession now, committing to it, having the success that you can pat yourself on the back. Yeah, I did it. I did go to the gym 3 times this week, and I did go to the gym 3 times the week before, and I did go to the gym 3 times the week before that. I'm going to try going 4 times a week this week. I'm going to see how many weeks I can do that. Now, all of a sudden, you're not imposing something on you in this example, but now you're playing with it. You're trying an improvement on top of it. And it's those types of little wins that will start to really add up for you over time as you continue through the new year. Because you make a resolution in the very beginning of the year or at the end of the year prior, doesn't mean you set the resolution and forget it. Stay on top of it. Keep it top of mind, and also adjust them. Like I just mentioned, you may find, this goal is a little difficult for the attainability. Let me pivot. Let me make this something that's more attainable as I move forward through the new year. As you do that, you're going to rack up more wins. You're going to be more successful at all of the things that you are focused on doing. My wife and I had a nice little get-together meeting as we were closing out 2023. She had this brilliant idea to sit down and talk about our goals: personal, professional, financial, creative. She's a creative in a lot of respects too, on top of being a teacher. So we had a wonderful conversation where we talked about the things that just brainstorm. I'd like to do this, and I think I can do this and that. So we put it together. And one of the things that we're implementing is putting it on the refrigerator each month that identifies the activities and the goals that are required for us to continue sticking with those resolutions as we move forward through the year. But we don't get ahead of ourselves. The only thing on that fridge is this month. Next month comes around, you're a week out from the next month, we're going to adjust, we're going to pivot. We may have things that are left over we didn't accomplish. Doesn't mean we forsake them. It just means our timeline's a little different and we're still making progress forward. That's where that forgiveness component comes in. Doing this for yourself or with your significant other can help your bond, it can help your relationship. But beyond that, you're a team going for the same goals, or you're aware of the team's goals. A running back is a very different job than a quarterback does, but they know what they're doing individually. And they have a vocabulary of what that is for each of them individually, and then how that works as a team together. These are the types of concepts that really start to provide a benefit when we're looking at our goals. And you've got a teammate. And if you're single, you got the biggest teammate right there with you at all times to hold you accountable. It sounds silly, but this is stuff that is really helpful as we look forward to improving ourselves, which is really where I wanted to end everything off today. The idea of New Year's resolutions is because we're trying to improve ourselves in whatever capacity. We want to change our quality of life. We may want to change our circumstances. It is a dance. We will make progress forward. We will dance back, but keep your focus on the goal. Keep making the proper steps toward that goal. And over time, you will look back and say, wow, look at me. 3 months later, I did all of these things because you were tracking it, because you were keeping your eye on the ball. And that's just going to, positive endorphins will be releasing. You're going to feel positive. You're going to feel great about everything ahead of you. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope this information is something that you can take with you as you're assessing your New Year's resolutions and your goals for the year. Please like and subscribe to the show. We're on YouTube as well. Links are going to be posted, and I'll be looking forward to chatting with you all on Friday with an exhaustive November 2023 real estate market update for the US, as well as some opinions that I have about where the real estate market could be going into 2024. Thank you again so much for listening. Take good care.